When people give these kinds of speeches, they usually tell you all kinds of wise and heartfelt things. They have wisdom to impart. They have lessons to share. They tell you, follow your dreams, listen to your spirit, change the world, make your mark, find your inner voice and make it sing, embrace failure, dream, dream and dream big. As a matter of fact, dream and don't stop dreaming until all of your dreams come true. I think that's crap. I think a lot of people dream, and while they are busy dreaming, the really happy people, the really successful people, the really interesting, engaged, powerful people are busy doing. The dreamers, they stare at the sky and they make plans and they hope and they talk about it endlessly, and they start a lot of sentences with, I want to be, or I wish. I want to be a writer, I wish I could travel around the world, and they dream of it. The buttoned-up ones meet for cocktails and they brag about their dreams, and the hippie ones have vision boards and they meditate about their dreams. And maybe you write in journals about your dreams or discuss it endlessly with your best friend or your girlfriend or your mother, and it feels really good. You're talking about it and you're planning it, kind of. You are blue skying your life. And that is what everyone says you should be doing, right? I mean, that's what Oprah and Bill Gates did to get successful, right? No. Dreams are lovely, but they are just dreams, fleeting, ephemeral, pretty. But dreams do not come true just because you dream them. It's hard work that makes things happen. It's hard work that creates change. So lesson one, I guess, is ditch the dream and be a doer, not a dreamer. Maybe you know exactly what it is you dream of being, or maybe you're paralyzed because you have no idea what your passion is. The truth is, it doesn't matter. You don't have to know. You just have to keep moving forward. You just have to keep doing something, seizing the next opportunity, staying open to trying something new. It doesn't have to fit your vision of the perfect job or the perfect life. Perfect is boring, and dreams are not real. Just do. So you think, I wish I could travel. Great, sell your crappy car, buy a ticket to Bangkok, and go. Right now, I'm serious. You want to be a writer? Writer's someone who writes every day, so start writing. You don't have a job? Get one, any job. Don't sit at home waiting for the magical opportunity. Who are you, Prince William? No, get a job, go to work. Do something until you can do something else. I did not dream of being a TV writer. Never, not once, when I was here in the hallowed halls of the Ivy League, did I say to myself, Self, I want to write TV. You know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be Nobel Prize winning author Toni Morrison. That was my dream. I blue skied it like crazy. I dreamed and dreamed, and while I was dreaming, I was living in my sister's basement. Dreamers often end up living in the basements of relatives, FYI. Anyway, there I was in that basement, and I was dreaming of being Nobel Prize-winning author Toni Morrison, and guess what? I couldn't be Nobel Prize-winning author Toni Morrison because Toni Morrison already had that job, and she wasn't interested in giving it up. So one day I was sitting in that basement, and I read an article that said, it was in the New York Times, and it said it was harder to get into USC Film School than it was to get into Harvard Law School. And I thought I could dream about being Toni Morrison, or I could do. At film school, I discovered an entirely new way of telling stories, a way that suited me, a way that brought me joy, a way that flipped this switch in my brain and changed the way I saw the world. Years later, I had dinner with Toni Morrison, and all she wanted to talk about was Grey's Anatomy. That never would have happened if I hadn't stopped dreaming of becoming her and gotten busy becoming myself.
Okay, what's up, family? You're back with another one. This is episode, I think we're going to make this episode 5. Episode 5, this is following the Michael Jackson episode. This is Jen Ether's masterclass. This is following the Michael Jackson episode where he spoke about being a pioneer. So we just watched Shonda Rhimes speaking about dreaming in comparison to doing. And I thought this was very, very informative, very important. The reason why we do the masterclass is so we can really take a more so spiritual approach on how the people who actually mastered their crafts and got to where they wanted to go within their respective fields made it to where they want to go. And as we continue to watch these different clips from different people and different, like Shonda Rhimes and Michael Jackson are from two completely different industries, but they do have very similar takes, as does Russ, which is a young hip-hop independent rapper who made it from out of his garage or from out of his basement, has a very similar take on life as Shonda Rhimes and Michael Jackson. Now, different perspectives, But I just wanted to do this so we could see how the people who've made it really think, how their minds tick. And then we're going to break it down spiritually so we can see how this just aligns up and how basically you can't go wrong if you approach life with these types of mindsets. So in the Shonda Rhimes clip that we watched, she talked about how we're basically encouraged, and this is true. Like even when you walk into your elementary school, in the high school, the principal's office or the guidance counselor's office, even when you go into college to like sign up for your courses, you see those damn posters on the walls that dream big, follow your dreams, be a dreamer, right? These are the types of things that we've been actually, we've been coerced to be dreamers, which is important. But let's break down the concept of a dream. What is a dream? A dream is basically, and I'm not going to get too specific. I mean, we can look it up. Let's look it up. Fuck it. Let's get specific. Then I'm going to give you my breakdown on what a dream is. Because what we have to remember is a dream is something that is not within reality. It's even in spirituality, we understand that there are multiverses. So anything that you see, touch, come in contact with, whether you're in your wake state or your dream state, is something that you can bring into fruition. But because it's still in the dream state, it's something that has not manifested into your 3D reality. So for us to continue to dream our whole lives, that would almost be counterproductive as far as us actually wanting to bring that dream and harness the energy and that actual dream and harness that and bring it to our 3D reality. You know what I mean? So a dream is just that. It's a dream. It's a figment of our imagination. It can become a reality. It is steeped in reality, but it has not physically been brought down to the plane to play out in your 3D physical reality yet. So this is why it's so important to not only dream. The dream is the initial spark, the initial thought that you have. So a dream is nothing more than your intuitive spark giving you an idea to create something new. Now, let's say the Wright brothers. They only dreamed of flying, right? They every day they woke up, they talked about it with each other. Hey, what's up, brother? Brother one? What's up, brother two? Man, I really wish we could get off the ground. I mean, horse and carriage is fine. We got these automobiles, but imagine if we could leap from Mexico to California. I mean, to miss all that roadway, mountains, highway, whatever it was at that time, that would really save us a lot of time, brother one. I wish we could do that. I wish we could too. Day two. Damn, I'm still thinking about that flying thing. Like, it would really work. I know it would work. 3 years later. I can't get it out my mind, brother. Me neither. I'm still thinking about it too. 20 years later. That thought is still rattling me. Guess what happens 25 years later if the Wright brothers never do it? Someone else invents it. Because as I said in another episode, I believe it was the Michael Jackson episode, he was well aware that if he did not take advantage of the intuitive hits or the spiritual guidance that he was getting to create certain songs. So Michael Jackson, just as all of us do as creatives or just in life, we get these eureka moments. And it's up to us to actually act on them and play those moments out, because energy does not dissipate. It doesn't disappear. It's not going to go anywhere. So it's just out there for someone else to actually capture that moment, right? So yeah, if you continue to dream, that's all it will ever be, is a dream. But if you take that dream and begin to work on bringing it into fruition, then you get to take something that was just a dream, just a piece of your imagination, and actually make it a reality. And that is what we call in the fucking magical world, in the spiritual realm, alchemy. That's alchemy, taking something from nothing, or taking something that is just really a thought form is something that's air-based and being able to transmute that air into a physical manifestation on this planet. That's alchemy at its best. You feel me? So another thing that she talked about, which I thought was Okay, dream. A series of thoughts, images, and sensations occurring in a person's mind during sleep. So, I mean, we didn't really have to look that up, but we know a dream is something that only occurs in the mind. So if you keep it there, that's where it stays. You can go to sleep, you can live it out there, but don't you want to live out your dreams in your physical reality? Now, another thing that she said is, the people who dream, dream. But the people who are happy, engaged, and powerful, those are the doers. The reason why I put that down is because being happy, engaged, and powerful is actually a consequence to being a doer. So as you start doing, when you're dreaming, you're just dreaming. But as you start taking those baby steps, Will Smith says it best, lay one brick at a time. We like, the dream is usually going to be the finished product, which can be overwhelming when we just see this thing. It's like, wow, how the fuck do I bring that into my reality? So it only makes sense but to start with just one small thing at a time. You do that one small thing and you feel happy about it. Like, damn, I did something towards my dream. Like, now that thing that was just a dream, actually one part of it is here. You know what I mean? So let's say making money off of me doing tarot, or even building my studio, my home studio in my house, and putting out my own music, learning how to produce, engineer my own shit. I don't make beats, but I actually do all the engineering, all the sound work, which is, very tedious. All just a motherfucking dream, all just the idea. And actually, shout out to my twin sister, she bought me my mic. Now, this is based just like the Wright brothers. I talked to my sister about what I wanted to do. She felt like the dream was something that needed to be brought into fruition because she knows I've been rapping my whole life. I was in my first rap group in the 4th grade. You know what I mean? So she brought the first mic. That one mic was the one step. Now, the whole totality of my dream, I actually have one piece of it in my reality, the microphone. So then, bang, I go buy the mic stand. I go buy the headphones. I go buy the computer program. Now I have the actual things that I need to make the music. That's a big part of the dream that's now in my physical reality. Now, of course, the whole dream is still yet to be seen, but just from me being able to pull something that was just a thought, a eureka moment. Damn, I need to make music. Damn, I'm seeing that you could really make music now in this internet age through streaming, I don't have to sign a record deal. Dream. This is something that I should be doing because I always wanted to do this myself, but I always felt constrained or restricted because I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's not heavy in the rap community. It's not New York. It's not California. It's not even motherfucking, Atlanta. Not to say not even, because Atlanta is like the mecca of rap right now. So I didn't live in a hot spot. So once I realized and was able to hone in on where this shit was going, like, damn, you can do this by yourself. You don't have to live any of these places. That's when the dream came into fruition. Like, okay, I need to make this the dream. Once I started buying the pieces, as I said, now a smaller part of a big dream is now in my physical reality. Before I started buying any of the pieces, it was truly just a dream. Once I bought the pieces, then guess what? I made 10 songs. I put them out on Spotify. Now, I haven't really seen much in streaming yet because a lot of shit is going down, so now I'm in my second win. But I'm a lot closer to my dream than what I was maybe 3 years ago when I just thought of it. Now imagine if it was just a dream. If 3 years ago I thought of this, I need to really pursue this seriously. And I just kept thinking, my twin never bought the mic. I never got the headphones, the program. Now I just bought speakers and, I'm getting all types of new shit. So I never did any of that. Where would I be? I wouldn't be here talking to y'all. I wouldn't have the equipment to do so. You feel me? And I wouldn't have anything to talk to y'all about. How could I talk to y'all about following dreams, create a masterclass if I'm not doing it myself? You feel me? So just from you being a doer, it's literally, there's no other consequence other than becoming happy, very engaged, because as you're doing, you're going to be engaged with what you're doing. And that's going to bring in a sense of power, a source of power to yourself, which is ultimately going to fuel you to continue on with putting the rest of your bricks down to lay this foundation. So the last piece that Shonda Rhimes talked about, which was important, was the fact that through school, she didn't want to be a writer. She didn't plan on being a TV writer. She wanted to be Toni Morrison. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who Toni Morrison is, she's a motherfucking famous ass author. I mean, some of her most famous books were turned into movies, like big box office hits too, black movies. So Toni Morrison, hopefully y'all can check me, but I believe I'm right. Toni Morrison is the writer or the author of Waiting to Exhale. I believe that was one of her first. Either she did Stella Got Her Groove Back first or Waiting to Exhale. But she wrote both of those books, and we know what those books did in the 90s. So it makes sense that Shonda Rhimes, she was probably in school, in college in like the 90s when those books were taken off. And this was a black woman who was doing her thing at that time. Toni Morrison was big as hell. It's crazy that I have to say some of you guys may not know her name because, you know, I'm sure she's still writing, but she hasn't had one of those hits. And the 90s was like, what do they call it? They call it the Black Renaissance for like TVs, for television and movies for us. So during the 90s, we were really getting a lot of play on the big screen and on the smaller screen. As far as all the sitcoms we had, Living Single, Cosby Show, Fresh Prince, My Wife and Kids. Like, we had a lot of shit going on. And then our movies, we had all that. Stella Got Her Groove Back, Waiting to Exhale. Shit, even the Ike and Tina Turner, Jackson 5, American Dream, motherfucking, I mean, so many good movies for us to set it off was a part of that era. I mean, it's a black cast. So we had a renaissance where we were really getting a lot of play. And Toni Morrison was able to truly come up during that time. And I feel like now we're not seeing or hearing of her so much because that renaissance isn't as prevalent. We're not seeing as many of us on the screen as we once did. You know what I mean? And if we are, we're seeing us more in a racially ensembled cast, which is okay, but it's not like we were seeing those all black movies, which was epic and great, especially for our children to watch. And just to know that there's a Toni Morrison who's writing these black characters, who's giving black actors roles, you know what I mean? So Toni Morrison, she got her claim to fame from writing these books such as Waiting to Exhale. And I believe the bigger book at the time was Stella Got Her Groove Back. Like, everyone fuck with Waiting to Exhale, but I want to say the movie was, and I was a kid when all this stuff was out, but I remember it because my parents were reading this shit. But I want to say the movie was bigger than the book for Waiting to Exhale, from my recollection as being about 7 years old, 6 years old. And as far as Stella Got Her Groove Back, that book was huge. I mean, the movie was huge, but it was the book. I believe that one came out first, which even gave her play to do Wait and Exhale. So at that time, 90s, I'm sure this is around the time Shonda Rhimes was even in college. So she thought, I want to be Toni Morrison. Who the fuck, why wouldn't I want to be her? She's very successful. She's a black woman doing her thing. I want to be a writer like her. But focusing on being someone else, you can never get down to what your main goal is. Remember what I always say, we have our own specific blueprints. We're all put down here for very different and specific reasons. We're all snowflakes like fingerprints. No one's made like each other. Like, no one's made like me, Jen Ethers. No one's made like you, my viewer, right? So that means Shonda Rhimes could never be motherfucking Toni Morrison. Why? Like she said, because Toni Morrison already had that gig and she didn't have no plans of giving it up to her. So throughout her own journey, just from her laying her one brick at a time, keeping her head down, and just doing the things that resonated with her. And that's another important thing, is you don't have to have it all figured out. But one thing that you should be able to figure out is doing things that feel good to your soul, to your spirit. Even if it's a job. You know what I mean? You can go, like, I've worked at McDonald's like 3 times. And every time I've worked there, it's usually been like, all right, I need this gig. Let me go to McDonald's. But one thing about McDonald's I can say, as far as my soul and my spirit, is I'm a tourist, so I don't really have any gripes about where I work at. I'm very good with money. So when I've worked at McDonald's when minimum wage was $5.15, and I'm always the person, even if I work at a smaller job or a job that's like paying $5.15, I'm always the person that still buying lunch for everyone because I'm good with money. I just know how to maneuver my bread like that. So I'm never really pressed about where I work or how much I make. But what I do look at is the systems. And McDonald's in my neighborhood, I've left them and like basically told them off because they get a little crazy talking to young bucks. Like, they try to cuss you out and all types of wild shit at me. Like, what? You ain't even talk to me like that. I don't know what the fuck you thought this was, but I don't play those games. So I've had to tell people off, like management at McDonald's, when I've worked there in the past. I haven't worked ahead of McDonald's gig in about probably about a decade or so. But I'm not above going back. Like, if I ever needed a gig, I would go, maybe not, because McDonald's is hard. So not, don't shit on that work. That shit's hard. But one thing I will say about McDonald's is, and why it's a great job for anyone to have, whether you're an adult or a kid, is it teaches you the system. Like, McDonald's is set up so fucking well as far as, like, it's like Ford, working at the Ford motor plant, where you put in the transmission, then it goes down the line, you put this on, then this, then this. That's how McDonald's is. And I haven't worked at many fast food places, but I know through my study of McDonald's, because I've studied McDonald's, like just the creation of it, the owners, not because I worked there, just because I'm interested in business. But he created it, the McDonald's brothers, and what was his name, Koch, whatever dude's name is, I can't think of it right now, but they wanted it to where no matter, like, basically me, Jen Davis, or Jen Ether, could go open up a McDonald's, franchise it out, and everything's already set up for me. So, like, every McDonald's burger or whatever meal you get is supposed to taste the same because of their assembly line setup. We know exactly what goes on. This goes first, this goes second. First the bun, then the burger, then the cheese, then the ketchup, then the mustard. Like, it's really a system. So anytime you get a McDonald's burger, it's not like they just slap that shit together. There's a real system on how. Now, sometimes it may look slapped together, depending on how fast they did it and wrapped it up. If the person was careless, but it's not. It's a system. It goes down the line. There's no way to really skip it. You have to go out your way to put the pickle on before the motherfucking, or to put you have to go out your way to put the yeah, I think it would be like the pickle on before the ketchup. And I'm doing that because that's how you smash the ketchup and mustard. Bang, bang, right? So, with that system being put in place and me working there, it's like, okay, I can feel good because I'm learning a system. It's not just about me working at McDonald's, or it wasn't just about me working at McDonald's or anywhere I've worked. When I worked at the movie theater, it was like, okay, I'm seeing how people will pay their good money to be entertained. You know what I mean? Like, that was another, so no matter where you get led to, whether you may feel like, a lot of people would shit on McDonald's. And I've worked at McDonald's when I was young, and I've worked at McDonald's right before I became a CNA. That's what I do currently. I'm a certified nurse assistant. But right before I became one, I was working at McDonald's. Like, I needed a gig. I was like, let me go here. I had to do a lot of stuff to get myself right. You know what I mean? I was probably about 23 years old at the time. And that was the last time I worked at McDonald's. But even at that time, that wasn't like a glorified job for a 23-year-old. You know what I mean? People was kind of probably looking like, damn, Jen, what, McDonald's? Because I've had great jobs. I've worked at Duquesne University for a different company, but I've had great jobs. And then it's like, all right, because I'm not, I'm not pressed. But whatever little step I've taken in life, I've been able to learn from it. And no matter what, everything that I do right now, all of those experiences have added up for me to be able to take a bit of McDonald's, a bit of the theater, a bit of, I worked for a medical nursing company where I was doing filings of papers, but that's still with organization. So just make sure that you are trying to discover why you came to the planet. And don't beat yourself up on it if you don't get a clear message or, sound like, oh, this is why I came to the planet. No, keep your head down. Do everything step by step. Lay one brick at a time. Do things that ultimately will make you happy. And you will end up walking your way into your destiny. But the main thing that we really want to touch or hit home on, and the main thing that Shonda Rhimes was talking about, is you have to be a doer to do it. So at the end of this, what she was saying is she finally got to meet Toni Morrison. Now, once she met Toni Morrison, and this is funny because now it's about, she wanted to be Toni Morrison, right? But by the time she probably met Toni Morrison was probably like 15 to 20 years, maybe even 20 years later, 25 years later, if Toni Morrison is just talking her head off about Grey's Anatomy. Some time had lapsed, let's say at least a decade. So now, Toni Morrison, like I said, that black renaissance of Hollywood and all that has really died down a lot. So the Toni Morrison books are not being turned into big ass movies. They probably should. They should probably be, but they're not. So it was really to her benefit to end up finding her own way, because now the one who she once admired is now sitting across the table eating with her, admiring her. It's like, and not to say Toni Morrison won't never have a great bestseller that comes out. She will. But in that time period, it's like Shonda Rhimes got to see herself coming to fruition, or her manifestations coming to fruition, and actually sit across from the woman that she once wanted to be, to realize that, damn, I'm glad I never took that path and I just decided to become myself. Because I wouldn't even probably be having this conversation with you if I was chasing your dream. I wouldn't even made it to be you. Why? Because you're you and I'm me. So you gotta follow what resonates with you, and most of all, you gotta be a doer. You can dream, but remember, the dream is just the initial spark. It's all about making that thought, that dream. It's all about doing what you have to do to bring it into fruition. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, another one of Jen Ether's Masterclass. I am out, family. I will definitely put cards up and messages up for the other episodes if you guys have not seen the episode 1, which featured Russ talking about persistence. We did Chadwick Boseman in episode 2. We did Les Brown in episode 3. And we did Michael Jackson in episode 4. This is episode 5 with Shonda Rhimes. I appreciate y'all for watching. Please subscribe, please like, and please share with any entrepreneur or anyone that's trying to find their way in life or in business. Like I said, Jen Ether's Masterclass is where we're going to take a spiritual approach to success. All right, y'all. I'm out. It's your girl, Jen Ether. Peace.